You know, in the creator world, it's so easy to get obsessed with the sprint, right? Chasing that one viral video, that one big moment. But what if the real win, the one that actually lasts, is in running the marathon? Well, today we're diving deep into the journey of Nicky Saunders, a creative powerhouse who built her global brand by playing the long game. Let's get into how she did it.
And this quote right here, this is basically the heart of her entire philosophy. It's not about scrambling for the quick cash grab. It's all about the value you give to others. For Nicky, this whole idea of serving isn't just some buzzword. It's the fuel that powers the entire marathon.
So where does a mindset like that even come from? I mean, to really get Nicky's approach to content, you have to rewind way back to a starting line that had absolutely nothing to do with social media.
Okay, so when you look at this timeline, at first glance it seems kinda all over the place, right? 9 years in the Navy, starting out as undesignated, which she says basically means doing all the grunt work. Then she lands in a miserable IT job at a bank. But it was actually that misery that pushed her to find her future mentor on YouTube, and that's when she found a whole new mission.
And this right here, this is the thread that connects it all. Those 9 years in the military, they weren't some random detour. They were the foundation. It programmed this core value of service into her DNA, and that, believe it or not, became her superpower in the creative world. She didn't have a content strategy yet, but she knew how to show up and be useful.
So, showing up to serve is one thing, but how do you actually turn that spirit into a profession? Well, that's a completely different leg of the race, and this is where her patience and strategy really kick in. See that number on the screen? 3. That stands for the 3 years Nicky volunteered for Eric Thomas's team without getting a single paycheck. Just think about that for a second. The level of commitment. She was checking people in, getting food, being a driver, whatever they needed. And she did all of this while still working her full-time IT job.
And here it is, the payoff. That number, 2.2 million, that's what she helped grow her mentor's social media following to, all the way from 300,000. So she didn't just show up and help out, she delivered insane results, proving her value so undeniably that they just had to bring her onto the team officially.
But here's what's so smart. She's really clear that this wasn't about recklessly quitting her job. She calls it jumping strategically. She used that 9-to-5 to fund the marathon. It paid her bills, it paid her mortgage, and it gave her the freedom to build her passion without being totally stressed about survival. It's a masterclass in building your own exit ramp instead of just jumping off a cliff.
Of course, in every marathon, there comes a point where you hit the wall. And for creators, that wall is almost always burnout. The pressure to be on all the time is just brutal, and Nicky hit it hard. But her solution wasn't to hustle harder. It was to get way more authentic. We all know this, right? Social media trains us to show the highlight reel on the left, the wins, the big follower counts, the perfect final product. But Nicky realized that the reality of the work was the stuff on the right, the burnout, the bad days, the pressure. And trying to keep up that perfect image every single day, well, it just wasn't sustainable. So how would she bounce back? She built a routine of what she calls her non-negotiables. And these aren't just, nice little habits. These are hard boundaries. No calls before noon. A 4-mile walk every day. Prayer and meditation. Learning something new. Writing every single day. This is literally how she protects her creative energy so she can stay in the race for the long haul. And that whole experience led to this huge mindset shift, which is so freeing for any creator who's feeling that pressure. She realized that your presence, just showing up consistently as you are, is way more powerful than chasing some idea of quality or perfection. It's about progress, not having a perfect post every time.
Okay, so with her energy protected, the focus started to shift. It went from just making content to building something that actually lasts, a real community. This is where you stop chasing views and start cultivating genuine connection.
And her strategy for this is so simple, but it's brilliant. First step, just show up, be yourself on one platform you actually like using. Step 2, talk to the people who are watching. Engage with them, no matter how few there are. Step 3 is the big one. Get them off of social media and onto something you own, like an email list. And finally, step 4, serve that core group so well that they become your biggest advocates. They become your marketing team.
And here is the ultimate proof that this whole community thing works. When she needs to hire people for her team, where does she look? She hires people who are already in her community, people who already got the vision. They weren't just looking for a job, they were already part of the movement.
But look, the marathon's not over. The creator landscape is always changing. And if you want to stay in the race, you have to adapt. And right now, that means getting comfortable with new tools. especially AI. For Nicky, AI is not this scary thing that's coming to take her job. It's a creative assistant. It's a tool that can handle all the boring manual stuff, like writing captions or clipping videos, which gives her more time back to do the stuff only a human can do, be creative and connect with people.
And I love this analogy she uses. She says, AI today is like QuickBooks for accountants back in the day. It's not that the accountants who refused to learn it suddenly became bad at their jobs. They just didn't adapt. And it's the same thing now. Using these tools isn't about losing your value. It's about staying relevant and working smart.
So when you look at the whole race from start to finish, Nicky's journey shows us that real success isn't about the shortcuts. It's a marathon, and it's fueled by those things we talked about: service, authenticity, and smart adaptation. Which really just leaves one question for all of us to think about. Are you building your brand for a viral moment, or are you building it for the marathon?